Well, this project that I decided to take on, which is to install a 12-volt air conditioner in our motorhome here, has been going on for a long time. I've gotten a lot accomplished so far, and I can start to see the end of this tunnel and, this system actually fully functional. I still need to rebuild and redesign this control panel to have a place to put this new thermostat for this system. I need to tie in the LP furnace to this new thermostat. I need to run all the wiring for the thermostat back to the air conditioner itself. I need to power this whole system. I need to tie into my battery system, run some cables back. I've come up with a new way to redo the ducting. So I need to tear out some of the ducting and redo it. Yeah, I need to build a whole enclosure to make this thing look like an air conditioner in a box and make it look good. And finally, everything's got to be mounted into the RV. Right now, a lot of the stuff has been living inside the shop and taking up a lot of space. Whew. Let's get started. Start working on the that control panel, and I'm excited to get that going. All right, let me show you what I'm gonna do here with the control panel. It's nice that I can Winnebago's got plugs for all of these things. So I was able to just disconnect a couple things and then disconnect those plugs and then just remove this whole control panel. The old thermostat was actually down here at the bottom. Yeah, it's gone. So I wanna keep the thermostat here in the bottom, and I'm also gonna move this little controller for my Webasto gas heater, which was all the way at the top, and I have a spot for it right here that I cut out. So I enlarged this hole. I've moved this whole main part of the control panel up, so it's going to be pushed all the way to the top. Before, there was this gap at the top, and there was the water heater switch, which is an AC circuit. And I'm going to be removing this power line controller here. Now this ties into the main power panel that basically tells you if you're on 50 amp, 30 amp, generator, and so forth. And it does some management of individual circuits to turn off certain things if you're running on a lower power service. I don't really need it anymore. I just haven't really removed it yet from the system, but I got this taken out. I don't need the control panel anymore. And what I'm gonna do is replace it with this, which is a new switch for my electric hot water heater. So the other one is just a regular switch that, it turned on, but I couldn't really tell if it was on or not. So we'd always leave it on by accident and it would just draw a bunch of power. But I bought this one. It's got a little light on it. So when the water heater's on, I'll have this red light. So I'll know that the water heater's on. I need to turn it off when it's done heating. But with the power line piece removed, I found that this is a perfect spot for a little electrical box, and it fits in here pretty well. So I just got this little remodel box here, and I got this black faceplate, and I painted it matte black, and it's gonna go right there, and it's gonna look really nice. This is the old backing for this control panel, and I'm not gonna use it anymore. I don't want the wood paneling thing. This is a black plexiglass, kind of shiny. So that's gonna be the backing for this whole thing. I cut it the same size as this. What I think I'm gonna do here is just use this and just kind of move it up and down on this new piece, and I could probably just position it in a couple different spots and then use it as a template. I like the way it turned out. So the thermostat control panel is going to be here on the bottom. And yeah, I moved a few things around. I think it's just a lot more functional now. But I still have to run the cable from here all the way back to where that air conditioner unit is going to sit. So I think there's enough cable, but yeah, I have to go down here through this compartment here, and there's a couple of things that I typically rely on when I'm running cable through, you know, tight spots in the RV. Let me show you what those are. Well, the first thing that I typically will do is go to the other end where I want the cable to come out, set up a flashlight or some kind of light on the other end. So as I'm kind of navigating my way through the cracks, you know, through the floor and, you know, through these tight spots, that I can maybe see the light at the end of the tunnel. So it gives me an indication that I'm on the right track. Now, to run the cable, I like to use just standard Romex wire like this. And I have a couple of pieces in case I need to make a longer piece. But what I like about this over just, you know, like electrical fishing tape is that, you know, I can bend it in a lot of different directions if I need to kind of move around a corner or whatever. I can kind of manipulate this in a lot of different ways, and it's rigid enough where I can actually push it through cracks and openings, where if it was a more flexible wire or some sort of thing, then it would probably bend and go in different directions. So I just typically get what I'm trying to pull through, and I'll just kind of tie it up with these wires at the end and electrical tape it really good so that it pulls it through. All right. The other thing that I typically use a lot, which kind of saves you bacon, is a little borescope like this. It has a little camera and a light at the end and a long cable. When you just don't know, you know, where you're going, and you know, you just kind of hit a roadblock, this is the difference between knowing what's in there and guessing. So it's definitely worth getting one if you do a lot of wiring. I've stuck it in through walls, through floors. You can stick it into tanks and other things to inspect the inside of things. So it's really helpful to have one of these. So I can basically stick this in here and see what I'm dealing with. So in this case, I see that there's my gray tank is back there, and there's a big plumbing line, a couple other wires, and yeah, I'm going to use this to kind of get an idea of where I'm going. All right, well, I think I got a pass to fish it through, but I bet it's going to be too short, so I'll probably have to order a plug and make an extension cable to get it all the way to where it needs to go. There's the cable, ran it through. Turns out I was just a few feet short, and I decided to go ahead and reuse the old cable bundle that was attached to the heat pump, you know, on our original air conditioner. So there's a 12 wire cable that's already run back there, and it's got plenty of extra length. So I'm glad I left it. The way I'm gonna attach this to that is, you know, I've already kind of isolated the wires here in this bundle, and I picked up some of these connectors. Now these are a 12-pin connector, so I'm gonna create these connectors that I can then cut this from the new thermostat. And there's 11 wires here, and this has 12. So it's going to work out perfectly. All right, I came up with a little color scheme for these. The nice thing is that this particular cable has 6 solid wires, and then it has 6 striped wires of the same color. So yeah, I'll get to put some pins on these wires. I've already stripped them back a little bit here, as you can see. Okay. Good to go. 1 pin. 11 more to go. All right, I've got all 12 pins, and now I just need to stuff them into the back of this connector. Now these are actually numbered. So it goes 1 through 6 on the top, and then 7 through 12 on the bottom. So I'm going to start with number 1, which is down here. Let's push it in. I should hear a click. There, yeah. Nice click. It's solid, it's in there. All right, I'll just continue on. I'm just going to line up the colors here, actually. So on this other row, with the blue striped. Okay, got them all lined up there. And get my little pliers. 1. Now, the last thing I'm going to do on this plug, this is the male version. It has this little locking piece in here, so you stick it in the middle. It snaps in there, I believe. There we go. Locked in. 1 plug done. Before I button this whole thing up, I was able to tie the LP. I said LPeter. I was able to get the LP heater thermostat controls. It's just 2 wires is all I needed. I was able to get that connected to this thermostat here. And what that allows me to do is actually get rid of the old thermostat, because I can control the LP heater now in this heater mode that's here. Even though it's just using the air conditioner, I can now control the LP heater from this thermostat as well. Now it's just 2 wires I needed. There is a 12-volt wire coming in and a switched wire. There's two ports here on the little terminal block that was for the heater, and then the switched heater. And then once I had that connected, I can program the LP heater through here and turn it on, turn it off, set the temperature, and everything works just fine. Now I did have to connect a 24-volt power supply to this thing because apparently it runs on 24 volts. So I'm assuming that there's some kind of a buck converter or something in the air conditioner to power the thermostat that bumps it up from 12 volts to 24 volts. But yeah, once I was able to power the thermostat with 24 volts, then I was able to test that LP heater function and make sure it was going to work before I just got rid of the old thermostat. Hot air coming out of the floor. We're good to go. All right, well, in order to power this air conditioner, it needs 12-volt power. This one runs on 12-volt. There are other models that are 24, 48-volt, but my system's a 12-volt system. It could draw up to 90 amps at 12 volts, but it's a number 2 cable that goes all the way to the back where the air conditioner is. There's no air conditioner there now, so it's not hooked up yet. It's about an 18-foot cable run. It's a lot of crawling underneath the RV, running cable, zip tying. Everything's enclosed in this wire loom, so it's nice and protected. Melissa said, "Oh my gosh, have you been like cleaning a chimney or something?" Because that was just covered in grime. But got it done. And also it has a nice circuit breaker here that allow me to turn it off turn it back on, and provide some over current protection as well. So here's the bus bar where all the 12 volt system ties into the house. The battery compartment is over here, like I said, for our 800 amp hour lithium batteries. And this is all for the starter battery. But you can see I labeled everything nicely here. Here's the positive side, and this is the negative side. I opted not to tie the negative to the chassis, just so there's a direct positive and negative going right to the air conditioner. So overall, I think this is a great spot for the circuit breaker for this system, and being able to just tie in directly to the batteries. And it just seems like the more appropriate spot for it. Seems like behind this panel we've got circuit breakers and battery solenoids, stuff like that. Given the amount of current this thing can draw, it seems like this is a good spot for it. Well, I've decided to make a change to my original plan about how I'm going to route the cold air through this duct. Now, I think somebody even recommended in a comment on that video, but why don't you cut this duct short and go up a little higher? And the more I thought about it, I guess that's the right solution. I think it'll be a much cleaner installation if I do that. And right now this is like an 8-inch by 7-inch, more of a square hole. But what happens actually when it goes back behind this fiberglass wall is that it kind of opens up and it turns into a rectangular shaped duct, which is more of a standard size. So I'm going to cut out a rectangular hole here. The duct is right behind here. I'm going to cut off this duct, which is actually just plastic, so it'll cut fairly easily, and then this whole thing will actually drop down and be gone, which actually solves a lot of issues for me. One of them is that it's kind of in the way of things. I have a heater back here that's more difficult to get to because of this duct, and it also eliminates one turn in the airflow here. So instead of going down and then up, it'll go kind of straight and up. So that's going to be a good benefit as well. I think there was one more issue, one more pro. Can't think of what it is. Oh, I think it's just going to allow me to move the ducting up here closer to the top of this compartment, as opposed to having all this stuff in the middle. So I think it's just going to make everything a lot more accessible. L. Alright, well this is interesting. Duct is out. This whole bottom piece is plastic, but there's this like 12-inch by 3 1/4, so that's transition that goes up about 3 feet to the top ducting, which is also plastic. But in between, this is just foam. Crawl under here with me. Right there. See, it's just like foam. If we look in there, there's a plastic piece all the way in at the top. But yeah, this is just foam. So yeah, there's the hole. We'll just tie into it right there with an L. There's my heater. Duct is temporarily disconnected. But yeah, here's a look inside the end cap. Pretty exciting. Before I was kind of working around this whole duct here, so this is really going to free up this space and really open it up. So I've got these two evaporators set up in the orientation that I'm going to install it in the RV, and I've taken them down there already and just made sure that everything was going to line up right. But what I need to do is take these two ducts here, and I'm going to be pushing it through this rectangular duct, so it's going to go kind of like that. I'm going to try a little experiment, do something here with some spray foam, and actually make kind of a mold that's gonna fit inside here. I'm gonna spray the inside with some kind of lubricant to make it easier to take out once it's in there. Yeah. All right. It's pretty exciting actually seeing this whole ducting setup come together and actually work the way I thought it would. Actually, it fits in there really nicely, the whole duct that I've stuck in there in that hole. But it's also nice to get these evaporators actually staged out here in this position, really be able to see it and know that it's going to work good. If you're wondering what these hoses are that are attached to each one, these are actually condensation hoses. Each one of these evaporators has a condensation port in the back that, you know, will just release that water basically as condensation builds up inside these units, and I'll just drain it down onto the ground, put a little hole here somewhere. But yeah, I need to continue working on the enclosure for the rest of this system, and you know, once I get that all pieced together, I'll be able to bring everything out here. Actually, it's going to start to look like a full system. All right, well, that enclosure is just about complete, and I just have a couple more holes to drill in it and make some minor adjustments. So I just need to take some measurements here, because I'm going to have to cut out a little notch so that it fits around these blowers. And once I'm done with that, I should be able to get everything moved down here and mounted here in this space, which will be very exciting because it's been in the shop for a long time, and I'm ready to get that space back. Well, I say my little black box is done. At least good enough for now. My goal was basically not to make it too fancy. It's going to be kind of hidden anyway, and I just needed everything to be sealed up so I can make everything in here somewhat airtight and still accessible. So these panels should easily be able to be removed, and probably just this one, and allow me to get in here and service the compressors. I can actually lift this up. I modified the top here so I can just kind of lift this whole thing out. I created some access holes here in the back. They're just inch in diameter holes. I found these little things that you can stick in the hole, kind of like a grommet. And all this rubber kind of sealing tape and this sticky back insulation / heat shield stuff. I picked all that stuff up on Amazon as well, and it's been working really good. My plan is to try to get a lot of this stuff mounted in the morning. It's actually nighttime now. Hopefully hit it and rain or shine, and get this stuff mounted and out of the shop here. I'm pretty excited to get some of this space back. All right, well, there's been a little break in the weather. It was raining pretty good this morning, and a cold front has kind of come in, and so it's in the 40s. But I'm gonna see what I can get done here. I got the awning up, so it should be good to go for a while. And I've done some pre-wiring already, just so I can just move things in. I don't have to do a lot of wiring that's in there. So I got some harnesses already hooked up and just sitting there ready to be connected. So yeah, I'm gonna install the frame and then the big condenser, which is right here, and then we'll move the enclosure in and the big compressor unit, and yeah, we'll see how it goes, see how much I get done. Okay, I've got the main bracket in, and yeah, it took a little finagling because just needed to get it lined up and give me enough room to be able to get more in here. Now I took a recommendation from one of you to add some additional little rubber spacers in here, so I got them here on the side mounts just to ward off any added vibration that might occur here. But yeah, I found these. They're pretty thick. They're about a ½ inch. Nice big rubber piece. So added those and a couple of lock nuts where I could fit them in. And on the top here, I have these big nylock nuts that are holding those down. So right now it's angled down. What I'm going to try to do is actually put the box in first, and then I can raise it up and then add the condenser to the bottom. So that's my plan. I'll film what I can, and yeah, it's just kind of a lot of crawling around in here. Oh boy. Hey, remember that cable that I made the new cables for, so I can use the old cable? Well, here it is. So I just wanted to show that to you. It's coming out the other end, and this is the rest of that bundle that I attached to the other end. So this is part of the original setup here, and this is the part that we made to extend that. So yeah, it's just basically connect it like that. I'll stuff this back here and get it out of the way. And right here, these two cables are the other end of the battery cables. So I just have them stuffed in here right now. They're not fully connected, but I will do that obviously before I turn everything on. The system's pretty secure, and just kind of tidying up some cabling here so I can lift this whole thing back up and get it seated in here and lift it up in its right position. Well, it's in, and you know, all the wiring's hooked up, and I was able to tidy up all this cabling and stuff, make it look somewhat presentable. Yeah, I think it's in good shape. Now the battery is actually connected too. So what do you say we try to hit the breaker and fire this up, see what happens? Here we go. All right, yeah, well, the thermostat powered on, which is what I would have expected. So that just shows us getting power. That's a good sign. If that was not on, yeah, we'd probably have some other problems. But yeah, I don't want to do too much right now because there's no refrigerant in the system. So there's not going to be any cooling. And there's no hoses either, refrigerant hoses. So I just wanted to make sure that it came on. Let me see. We could probably try the LP heater. Right now it's off. And if we turn it to heat, it should kick on the LP heater, not touch the air conditioner at all. So let's try that. Heat. Make sure. Oh, it's coming on. All right, so that still works. That's a good sign. I'm going to turn that off. Off. Okay, it may take a little bit to time out and then shut off the fan blower. It's just a little delay there. Okay, well, that blower finally shut down. But I'll be sure to circle back and update you as soon as I can get the refrigerant hoses measured, ordered, installed, and we can get this whole system charged and functioning like an air conditioner. But it's been a huge milestone for me to get to this point. It's been a big project, and I'm glad all the hard stuff is now behind me and I can move on with some other projects. But let me know what you think. I welcome your thoughts and comments on this whole thing. And be sure to go check out the other videos on this project if you missed any of that stuff. I'll link to a playlist down below. But take it easy, and I'll see you next time.